Kishor Patil, MD and CEO of KPIT Technologies, as the chief guest. Sir is honored with the CA Business Leader Award, Corporate Award, by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. He is named among the top 16 entrepreneurs in India by the Ernst & Young, and is amongst top 50 CEOs of 2013 by the Entrepreneur magazine. With pleasure, we invite Mr. Kishor Patil to sermonize us.
Honorable Chairman, trustees, dignitaries on the dais, dignitaries of the dais, professionals from the industry, and my dear students. So first, let me congratulate PCET for their silver jubilee, as well as doing this for last many years. I think really we need a round of applause. It's very difficult to do something year on year. People take effort and do it for 1 year. It's always difficult to continue something. And it's very important specifically for the relevant topic we are talking about, because there is nothing which is going to change drastically in 1 year. And it's going to be a journey to be traveled both by industry as well as academia. And that's the reason it's very important that this happens over a period. And I hope we also track the progress which we make every year. And also, that is the reason the kind of jobs which gets used to get offshored in India, if I have to say that time, they are becoming smaller. And that's the reason if you want to do more offshoring, what you need is a better talent. People who are used to new technologies, who are proficient in it, and also they have a better domain knowledge. So the whole thing, the whole industry is going to change. And if you are looking for how these two can collaborate, it is very important to understand how the industry is changing. A lot of earlier the projects used to be of support. A lot of big support projects used to come for India, and it was easy for the industries to put people on these jobs. The extent of offshoring which is happening on maintenance jobs is coming down because the new technology allows you to do it differently. And because of the productivity and other increases, those kind of jobs are coming down. So the issue is the traditional area where we created so many jobs is in some way getting stagnant, and that's why it's very important to see what is happening in the smaller. And that's the reason if you want to do more offshoring, what you need is a better talent. People who are used to new technologies, who are proficient in it, and then there are different solutions naturally are coming in that area. So there is a lot of technical obsolescence which is happening, and which is a huge opportunity. The other opportunity which is happening is software is not by industry by itself. Software is coming in every part. So as example, you all, I'm sure somebody, you would have used Uber or Ola. Now it's a new industry which is created. It is creating a transport company which doesn't own any car. But it is all software platform. Look at the Flipkart or any of these. These are all software platforms. So software is going into almost every industry. It is impacting every industry, and that's the opportunity we have. I personally think there is a huge industry opportunity for software, as well as mainly for software and electronics engineers in India. For example, if you really look at it, I mean, a lot of time people used to look at US, Europe or other countries for job opportunities. But I personally think India has a huge opportunity. We see a huge possibility for transformation for Indian industry. As you were saying, there are so many 150 companies who have come, and I'm sure there are many local companies. They need support, they need help. And I think there is a huge opportunity which is sitting there because everybody wants to improve its productivity. So these are the opportunities which will be there. I mean, most of the companies are changing. Even the traditional software companies are changing the way they want to operate. For example, if you look at my company, we work with almost all automotive companies in the world. We work with every company in the world, in US, Europe, Asia, Japan, Korea, China, in automotive sector. And we used to work, we provide, I mean we still work, right? We provide a support, we provide technology to these companies. Recently, just 2 months back, we came up with the India's first indigenous electric bus, fully Indian technology with more than 30 patents. Now, it's a very important because the technologies we get from outside are sometimes not sustainable. It's all global industry, but still it's not sustainable. So the innovation has to happen here, a lot of products has to come here, and for that it's very important that this kind of innovation has, will come, and the people have to be ready for it. So for example, in this case, for many of the design, not only we use a lot of industry veterans, but we also had certain competitions with the college students. And I must say that we got some very good inputs from the college students. So every year we run something like Sparkle, which is for the college projects, which the college or engineering student do it. So this year we had given, we have been doing it for a few years. So we give certain topics, and the idea is to come out with a really innovative project ideas in certain areas like clean energy. That's the area of focus for us. I have to tell you, the first year we got about 150 good ideas. This year we got more than 500 big ideas. And we are trying to make sure that some of the good ideas are being put to use, are adopted by certain industries. So it's very important that the way the industry is changing is creating opportunities, but it is expecting something different from it. It is the same for manufacturing. It is the same for manufacturing. So manufacturing has been, you look at newspapers and see that globally there is a slowdown. But I really believe India has a huge opportunity in that spot, specifically with some other countries slowing down. India still has an opportunity. There are also some other initiatives like Make for India, etc. And I think the growth from the Indian industry is still better as compared to many other countries. And most of the manufacturing is becoming electronics. So why we could come up with a full bus, and why not the bus companies? Why the electric bus could be manufactured is basically because it's largely driven by software. It's largely driven by software. So most of the manufacturing industries also is having a lot of electronics and software. And I think that's a great opportunity for India and outside India. So that's what I think is a great opportunity coming outside the software industry also. So there was a lot of discussion about ethics, professional, how we can do it, etc. I think what I was basically saying that in this turbulent part, when a lot of things are changing, what one has to really focus on is the learnability. We talked about it, right? How quickly you can change and learn. How much time you are spending in learning. I mean, I have to say that some of these things are indicators, and I do see that many of our people do not spend enough time in honing their skill, getting to new skills. It's very, very important. The second is entrepreneurship. As I said, there is a lot of startup demand which is happening in Pune. There are so many startups which are coming up. So are there entrepreneurship nurture? I think it's a great opportunity for an institute like you. You have multiple things. Like you have MBA school, you have engineering school, these schools. Do you allow, can we look at a situation where multiple kind of trainings can be allowed for people to go across, and learn that? That will help to really create entrepreneurs and basically have the holistic skills and, for engineers or this, and that will allow for many other entrepreneurs to come in. As I was talking about this Sparkle or some of these areas, some of these new concepts can be funded very easily. I mean, you will be surprised how much crowdsourcing is happening. These are small concepts. Once you go to the next level, you will get funded. There are enough funding available in India. I think India is the third largest nation to have startups after US and other countries. So I think it's very, very important that this ecosystem is very well developed. So there was one example with Mr. Narayan Murthy had given. It stuck with my mind in one of his speeches. He talked about that India has a great family culture, but India doesn't have a social culture. Right? We are very good at home. We take care of our family. Don't take care of society. So many people, you think about your friends, family. You think about your family, but on the road, if there is an accident, the very few people will wait. They will think, oh, it's too much of a problem, right? Too much of an issue. And that's something we have to learn to some extent, that what we talked about ethics, I would put it in a more like a professionalism. It's very important that when our engineers come, they become very professional. Ethics, in some way, I would say, being very professional in what you do and what you're supposed to do and what you don't do. And I think that's where we lack significantly. Whenever I see where we have to really feel wanting sometimes, is the people who come without the kind of professionalism, kind of work ethics we need, the kind of efforts we put in, kind of productivity is expected from that. I think we lack there sometimes. So I think it's a great opportunity for institute like you to really inculcate that professionalism, and that is what will really help us. I think many of the environment, creating this environment of entrepreneurship, R&D, I'm very happy to see that the kind of patents you have filed and etc. But it's very important that on the number of papers which have been published, but we need to really globalize, and I'm sure you must be doing it. But even as a company, we used to track how many papers, new technology papers we are submitting. We moved that to see how many of them get selected in the top A-class conferences across the world. And we suddenly went here. And then it took us a lot of effort to see how many papers we could really present internationally. So it's a process, and it's a great thing what you are doing. But I think we have to really have a global outlook and see how we can start moving on a global platform. So I would say that naturally very happy to see. I mean, yours is a very professional institution. I mean, one of the reason I'm here is my team says that this is one of the organization which has a hunger. Which has a hunger. They want to do something. So I really congratulate you on that. But I'm just trying to see where we can go forward, right? So I'm sure there are a lot of MOUs which have been signed. There are guest lectures which happen. Many industry projects which are happening. What is that we can do more on that? I mean, some of these learning we can take. Like, for example, we do have, and somebody mentioned about it, we do have an association with Massachusetts University in Boston. We have a technology tie-up with them. And I'll tell you, last year, I mean, here in India, Europe, US, we took all our customers to MIT, right? And we showed what are they doing there, and what are the new technologies, and naturally how we are collaborating to create a better learning environment or research environment. It was not only with the university, it was with a company like us and with the customers. So I think, I'm sure on a smaller part, these kind of initiatives can be started, and some of that will be very useful, because I think it is very important that some of these collaborations, like you talked about, there is a laboratory. I'm sure there is some funding we can figure it out. The important is how do we put to use that laboratory? Whether there are real projects, otherwise, or it is just a part of the CV saying that we know what this element is. And when this starts becoming serious, I think we will find people who are very proficient, and that will create a lot of opportunities. Professors, whether we be more progressive in creating sabbaticals, whether we start, as you talked about, creating more industry presence on the campus, even few, right, 3-4 people, whether that will help. I think some of these elements we need to do, and I completely agree, it is not only you can do, it has to be the collaboration with the industry. And I'm sure if people see this hunger, there will be more opportunities than less. And I think that is something which is very, very important. I think from the students as well, I would say that how many opportunities you can create for cross training. Because I think one of the most exciting, my both daughters went to US, and one of the main reason for that was, I think, the flexibility of taking courses across. Whether you can take many language courses, whether you can take manage economics, you can do engineering, and that's what really excites the education. And as mentioned, that if you are to work for Japanese companies, the language is very important. And it's a, do we create, how do we create that more and more such cross training opportunities? And for my students, how can you really make sure that you put that extra bit to be there? I think that is what will create more opportunity. That's why the overall environment is very turbulent, but I'm very excited about the opportunities. I'm sure with some steps coming forward from education and from industry, we can really make it a big growth story for India and for all of us. Thank you.